Hi, hello, and welcome back to another video. Today, I bring you very sad news. Cowboy Bebop, the Netflix live-action series, has been canceled. There's no word of if they're trying to crowdsource or do anything like that with this series. And to be very honest, guys, I'm not surprised. I think I left my thoughts a lot in the comments down below. Some of you guys were commenting on that, saying, you know, you guys are going to miss the show, or that you guys are saying good riddance, and I think it's pretty much divided, just like this whole entire series has been. I'm sort of in the same boat where I feel like this show had its run, it tried its best, it was cast pretty well for the most part, but seeing it let go, I'm fine with that, and I'm 8 episodes into the show, and I have no hard feelings towards it. I understand why they did it. So shows like this, I feel like getting renewed for a second season is probably not possible. And to be honest, on a network or on just regular TV, remember that? Remember flipping through channels and stuff? The fact that a show like this would even get a full season is pretty remarkable, and that's probably due to streaming. Since most network television usually has a pilot, and that pilot will determine whether the show gets a full season or even, you know, a 6-episode run or more. To see a show like this get that opportunity and chance to get a full season run, I think is good in itself, and they should be proud of the work that they did. Well, some of them should be proud of the work they did. Otherwise, I'm happy that I get to experience this show with you guys. I get to finish the show out. There's an abundance of great content out there, so the fact that I can sort of take a break and watch something else, it feels nice. It feels nice. So there is some relief there. But thank you guys so much for joining me. This is a long spiel, and you guys know that it was canceled already, so this is not really new news to anyone. But thank you guys for joining me for another one. I know that this one is probably not going to get as many views, but I just want to complete out the series just because I feel like I am so far into it. If I didn't do it, I would feel ridiculous. So I'm happy that I get to finally close this out and give you episode 9, and we'll see from there. Still haven't seen Ed yet, and I know that Ed is going to show up in the finale. There was a comment in one of my videos that said that I called Ed a boy, and yes, I did on accident, but I think later on in the video, or at least in the next video, I address Ed as a girl. And I'm not saying that they can't change that, I'm just saying based off the anime, Ed's a girl, and in that video, I accidentally said Ed was a boy. Typically a boy's name. I'm not saying it can only be a boy's name, I'm just saying usually it's a boy's name. Like, I have a friend named Eddie, so it's a little confusing, okay? So it was a Freudian slip. I did not mean to call Ed a boy. The wheels were turning just there. I was like, did I say that right? Yeah, I did not mean to call Ed a boy, but I did say it, and I apologize to you who had to call me out on that in the comments. Really necessary. Thank you. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and sorry about this long intro. Let's get into the video.
Let me get this straight. You let a woman shave your balls with a straight razor.
Electrics are like bloody chainsaws. Who shaves you?
This video is brought to you by Manscaped.
I prefer a more natural situation.
That's just uncivilized.
Oh, is this a ISSP agent? Oh my god. Oh, Jesus.
Why should I clean up? I did all the work.
Are you kidding me? I am not cleaning up any blood.
Can we just get a show of these two? I'm already liking the dynamic already. Okay, you know what? I'm already liking this episode already, and obviously me talking through the intro again, and sadly for the second to last time. Anyways, Fearless and Vicious, we get to see some background of them back when they were both part of the Syndicate. This is really interesting. I thought the beginning of the episode was going to start with Vicious killing Julia, based off the last episode, but no, we get some background of them, and this was back in their man bun phase. I mean, I'm not really one to talk, but I think it's a good look on them, personally, but I think I have a bias. I think I really enjoy the banter between these two. I think that Vicious works really well off of, or not Vicious, Alex Hassell works really well off of John Cho, just based off the scene alone. Like, I wish we got to see more of this in earlier episodes to establish their relationship, their falling out eventually. I think this episode is going to cover that. Did I say episode right? Episode is going to cover that, and I really can't wait to see them deep dive into the Syndicate. In my personal opinion, I hope this episode isn't good, just because then it'll feel even worse that we don't get a second season if this episode is a standout. Does that make sense? I just want it to not deliver, so I don't feel as bad. But anyways, let's get back to watching the episode.
I mean, seriously, how hard would it be to breed a couple of cows? I got another job for you two.
If you want us to breed cows, it's gonna take some time, sir.
I'm digging this episode so far.
I keep telling you, you're too skinny for me.
Too skinny. That hurts.
I like them thick.
I like them old, rich, and fat.
I'll start eating that.
I don't like hearing people throw up, even if it's fake. It's not. No.
No. Seriously. I can't.
Why is Julia dressed up like an influencer right now? She looks like she sells homemade soap on Etsy. She's dressed like Scarlet Witch.
Me instead.
I wonder if she actually sang this in the studio. If she did, great job. Sounds good. He looks so aggressive. Vicious looks angry all the time. I don't know, I like how much of a petulant child he is. Look how aggressive this man is. Her turn to throw up? Oh, okay.
And you know my feelings on them.
Mm-hmm. They're like bears. Fun to look at, but don't roll down the window.
Unless it's that little bear that waves. Blue CROW WALTZ, name of the episode.
You speak Russian.
I learned a little.
That's a baller move right there. She seemed very uncomfortable. Maybe that's intentional. Whoa! It's like a Pez dispenser for cigarettes. That's cool.
We're going out later. You should join.
Why would I do that?
She finds you funny somehow.
Uh-oh. Well, Spike is like that funny friend you don't want to bring your girl around.
He said no iron.
Oh, I thought he was gonna grab his ass. You got this, buddy. Let's be fair. As badass as they think they feel, I think they all look ridiculous. I don't know if there's anything less intimidating than a gang that all matches.
I just heard.
Heard what?
She fired you.
What? Where is she? Anna, is this about my son?
People disobeying my rule. Congratulations.
Wait, what? I thought you really fired me.
Oh, you're fired. I always think that's such a tricky little play to do, where you like pretend you're gonna give someone bad news and then you give them good news instead. It's like that could go very wrong. If Julia was unhinged, she would have gone attacking Anna's eyes directly.
This was about the sin.
This guy has the same haircut as Kim Jong-un.
The fix will come down from the elders. You two will do nothing. You will sit on your fucking hands and wait.
This guy doesn't look real. He looks like he works at Gringotts Bank. He looks like a goblin. That's the word I'm looking for, a goblin.
Whatever happens, happens.
There you go.
Anna made me a headliner.
Well, the celebrations are in order. Cheers.
I love the Jupiter jig. Hey, come on, dance with me.
I don't think so.
Dance with your girl, it'll cheer you up. I love places like this for getting shit-faced.
Which I prefer doing over dancing.
Boo.
Just to be clear, I'm no dancer.
You have feet, you can dance.
That'd be so funny. He just starts breakdancing. Whoa. It's not the kind of dancing I meant.
So, how did you turn to partners?
He saved me, convinced his father to take me in, float a life for me. We became brothers that day.
It's like the plot of G.I. Joe, Snake Eye origin movie, whatever the hell that movie's name is. It's not good, apparently. Isn't this just square dancing? This is just square dancing, right? Oh, there's that really bad picture. This guy should be fired. I'm like, dude, this sucks.
No.
I don't want to be rude. My hands.
Oh, no. Vicious is drunk driving. Y'all let him drive? You guys are bad friends.
Julie, stop! Stop!
Oh, that didn't look like it hurt too bad.
Stop!
That looked kind of funny.
Take her home. I'll deal with him.
I mean, what did you expect, Julia? He's part of a criminal underground syndicate. It's literally called a syndicate. What'd you expect? They kill people. You knew that. You gotta be about that life. Here, take it. It's the Eye of Agamotto. Ooh. Me at the dentist's office. This is what it looked like when I got my wisdom teeth removed. Whoa. Have you no shame, Fearless? God damn. No wonder Vicious doesn't like you. Dude. And you guys are wasting booze. It's like 3 crimes in 1. Come on. Oh, that was a cool match cut, actually. Good job, editor. I really thought it was gonna be Vicious peeing on the guy. Seems in character. I'd love it if the two henchmen pull out marshmallows. I think because of this, Vicious has every reason not to like Fearless. Bro, like, one night, you guys just hung out one night, and then you're just boning your best friend's girl. I know he's not the best boyfriend. He doesn't get the Boyfriend of the Year award or anything like that. But that is shady, dude. That is not good. Fearless is sort of the villain of the episode, I guess. Well, debatable.
All I'm afraid of is losing you.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Way too fast, way too quick. I'll forgive it for the reasons that it's trying to evoke like a noir film where like you have this detective or crime boss or whatever who falls in love with a woman overnight at a jazz club or something. It's kind of like that stereotype or that trope that you see where it's just like instantly they just knew that they were meant to be together. I'll forgive it for that, but building it up over almost 10 episodes, it's like it should they have more time to establish that, and I'm just not buying this rushed romance.
I know you think you owe him, but a sane person would wonder, how long are you gonna pay that debt?
I don't think Vicious should be called Vicious. I think it should be Reckless, because that seems to be his main trait so far. He's not really vicious, he's just very reckless.
He wants you to do it.
Uh-oh. I can't, because actually, yeah, I maybe I will. You mean I can Vicious and then still keep his girl? Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll say all of Vicious's hairstyles in this episode are doing him so many more favors than the ones in the present day. The window pane, what do you call that look? The windows, the shades, I don't know what you call it. It doesn't work for him.
My father's name. You know he made me watch the night my mother jumped. I watched as she contemplated her mortality while standing on the roof.
And you know what he said? Do a flip.
He just kept whispering in my ear how weak she was.
John Noble, Father of the Year award. Bro, wait. Why'd you have to give me your backstory now? I'm just... He's just gonna cut off his ponytail. The Death Star. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of space, but you know, I'll forgive it because it's Syndicate and I feel like they're more like ground level stuff. You know, I buy the relationship between these two characters. It actually makes me a little upset that, you know, they're doing this, that they have to be pit up against each other. They work really well together, surprisingly. I like them. It's unfortunate that Fearless has no chill, and he definitely broke the bro code. Slept with this girl, like, almost immediately. They square danced once, and then it's just off to the races. I mean, she just did go through a traumatic experience, but doesn't mean you gotta bet her down, you know? You guys just watch a movie or something. Can we see it? Yeah, let's go. Ooh, yeah. It's like John Wick. Okay. It'd be real cool if I could see what's going on. Okay. There we go. Yeah, some John Wick shit going on. Dude. Yeah. Okay. I like this. I like this when I can see what's happening. There's a lot of cowboy switches going on. It's like Old Boy a little bit, except if the screen was blocked by a pillar every 5 seconds. But this is pretty cool. Like, I'm digging the atmosphere of this scene a lot, and the action is very much what I thought Spike and the Syndicate would look like in live action. It's pretty cool.
You didn't see anything here.
Yes, I did. I saw all of it.
Run!
And that girl grew up to become Faye Valentine. That's what they would do in the MCU. Oh shit, never mind. I take that back. You know what? This really makes him more of a four-dimensional character. Or three-dimensional. Four-dimensional. This man really just does bend space and time. Bro, her wig is so bad.
He'll never stop looking for us.
I'll make sure he...
You guys had a one-night stand.
I love you. I have since the moment I saw you.
Yeah, then why didn't you send her a bottle of champagne? If you loved her so much. Huh? Why didn't you ask her out, dude? Come on.
Yes.
No. This is all wrong. This is not cool. This is not cool. It's still a dick move. I know, yeah, Vicious is a dick, but like, you still, like, there's gotta be some honor within the Syndicate, right? It's like, Syndicate, obey the elders. Rule number 2, kill any witnesses. Rule number 3, respect the bro code.
No, 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 don't do this.
So it looks like she has like a rock climbing wall in her office.
Gren will make good on the papers.
Oh! It just clicked that character's Gren, because Gren looks completely different in the anime, so it didn't even click, and like, Gren dies in the same episode that, or same 2 episodes that he's introduced, so didn't even click that was supposed to be Gren, the one with the really cool hair. Yeah, cool. I really like those episodes with Gren in it. It's probably one of my top 10 episodes of the anime.
Quite the celebration you've had.
Is this John Noble? Oh, it is! Okay, I thought they just killed him off in one episode. Yes. Oof, that wig, though.
I have underestimated you, boy. I'm proud of you. They disrespected you. I couldn't let that happen. What?
Vicious's reaction to getting grabbed was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's like when you scare a child. Not on purpose. I don't just scare children. That's not what I'm saying. When you accidentally scare a kid. They're just oh shit. He f***ed up Gren. In this one, so Vicious is just like a petulant alcoholic. But his motivation and the reason why he hates Fearless is so justified. It makes sense. It makes sense to me. I mean, Fearless basically one-upped the dude. He's like, I mean, he did it to save his friend's ass, and yeah, you know, makes total sense. I like that they pulled it off in live action like this. I believe in his drive to kick Fearless's ass. I mean, he stole his girl. I mean, dude. Yeah, it makes sense to me, okay? And I have nothing else to say. Also, John Noble came in for one day to shoot 2 of those scenes. And he's out. She's
not coming. Not tonight. Not ever. She chose me. Think you're fast enough?
I'll take that as a yes. There it is. Always do the double tap. Make sure that guy is gone. Okay, end of the episode. Okie dokie. Let's talk about that episode. Oh man, you know what? I wish that this show was just more of this atmosphere, more of this cold, slick, jazz-filled smoke in the air. You just feel like you're getting lung cancer just being in the room with these characters. That's kind of the vibe I got off this episode. Really liked it. I really liked this episode a lot. I think this might be, easily my favorite episode of the series so far. Unfortunately, it's episode 9. Yeah, man, that kind of sucks that so late into the show we get one of my favorite episodes. And you know, that's pretty typical of a lot of seasons of a series, like you want to save the best for last. But in a show like this, you really got to draw those fans in early, because then they're just gonna drop off and be like, this show was really bad. They'll dismiss it entirely, and that's totally what happened. And it's totally justified. Like, I would do the same thing. There's a lot of shows that I've watched a few episodes in and been like, I hope this gets better, and it just doesn't get better. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to drop it because I don't want to waste 5 more hours to figure out if it does get better, because if it doesn't get me in the first 5 or 3 episodes, then it's not really worth moving forward with. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier when it comes to pilots. Pilots are a huge indicator if a show is going to have success or even have legs. And it's like, it's really a betting game. A studio putting a bet on something, saying, okay, well, we've invested in the money and the casting into the pilot, and if it doesn't succeed, and if it doesn't capture the audience within the first episode, then why would we invest in a total 16 episode run or whatever, how long a season is of a series or a show like this? It's totally justified that anyone would drop it. It totally justified that Netflix would drop it. Everything makes sense. No one should be upset about this Cowboy Bebop season 2 ending except the creators and the cast. While I am giving this episode a lot of praise, I am totally on board for them making that decision because it just makes sense to me. Like, if this series had the quality of this episode, I think that this show easily would have gotten a second season. Not because this episode was flawless by any means, not that this episode was up there with like Stranger Things or some of the other series on Netflix that are just so great, so gripping and compelling. It's not one of those, but it's definitely a show that, like all the other junk on Netflix, would have at least had another chance. Like, we have like 14 Princess Switch movies by now, and what is it, To All the Boys I've Slept With, or whatever that series is called. It's like we have so many of those, so it's just like I don't there is a bunch of junk on there that gets audiences pulled in, and I think this stands up there with being a little bit better, or maybe a lot better in certain aspects, but it's definitely better than like some of the junk that Netflix does renew and does create sequels to. I totally agree with their decision. It's just, if the show isn't successful and it doesn't get that audience that it needs, it doesn't get the viewership it needs, and the word of mouth isn't spectacular, then I totally get why they got rid of it. And I've talked that to death, so let me just talk about some of the things that I really liked about the episode. Vicious and Fearless in this episode are so good together. I love their dynamic. I wish we got to see more of them just shooting the shit, like literally, and got to see more of their syndicate activities. Make it sound like they're doing puzzles together. I wish I got to see them do more hits. I wish we got to see them do more, like, I don't know, crime stuff. Like, that was the stuff I really like. I like how it opens up with Vicious. He's like monologuing, and it turns out he's just talking about shaving balls, and they're just like shooting the shit, and they're both dressed up like janitors, and then some guy comes out and like totally mess the guy up. And you can already tell from that scene alone the dynamic between the two. You can tell that Fearless is a character who has a lot more compassion, and he does think a lot more about how he kills, and he thinks about the consequences. Meanwhile, Vicious is a lot more reactional. He's very petulant. He's definitely a lot more invested in the killing part of it than he is the actual job. So yeah, you get to see the dynamic between the two, but you get to see that they have banter, that they do work well with each other. You can see that there's a history between them. I think they have really great chemistry between each other. I think the actors are doing an exceptional job. I love John Cho, you already know that. I think Alex Hassell is definitely underrated in this show. I think he definitely grew as a character that I really enjoyed watching. His performance alone, it's not that the material is all that great, but in this episode, you do get to see the journey of that character. You get to understand why he's so compelled to kill Fearless. You also get to see the dynamic between him and his father. We get a return of John Noble, who is he just adds class to any movie or show that he's in, and he's just so good at being a bad dad. I love seeing that actor on screen. I love seeing him sort of bait Vicious into thinking, he was part of that wiping out of the Neptune gang or whatever they're called. Vicious unknowingly admitting, I'd do anything for the syndicate, and then him just punching him in the gut. I like that. I know that it's probably a trope. It's probably something you see all the time, but I really love Vicious's reaction through that. Like, his eyes are so expressive. He has these huge, big anime eyes that I mentioned like the last episode, that you can see every emotion on that actor's face. I think that actor is actually very exceptional, and I would love to see him in other stuff. It's unfortunate that we're not going to get a second season of this, but I hope that all this cast gets noticed, because I think they're doing such a great job. John Cho, obviously he has a future ahead of him, but Daniella Pineda, she started off as a writer, she turned into an actress. Not the best roles that she's gotten so far, but I think she is actually a fairly good actress. She didn't even show up in this episode. I just want to give roses to the cast because the show was canceled. Mustafa Shakir, I saw that post that he made that he is really upset and sad that he has to let go of this character Jet. I think he did a phenomenal job as Jet, and that's probably one of the biggest misfortunes of the show, is that we're not going to get to see more Jet. I think he was perfect casting. I think he did it so well. He evoked that character to such an alarming degree that in the first episode, his first line that he delivered, I was like, yep, that's Jet. That's Jet. Right there, you did it. John Cho as Spike really grew on me. I really like him as a character. Spike will always just be Spike in the anime that I know, and this is just a different version of that character, and I think he did a really great job. He manages the cool. really shined in terms of the action department in this episode, even though it was all done in silhouette and it was blocked off a lot. But I think those those moments where the screen just went black in the transitions while they're kind of doing the old boy style hallway sequence, I think the reason for that was probably, you know, switching to a stunt performer and then switching back to John Cho for some of the close-ups and things like that. So there was an effective use of blocking in that scene. I just wish we got to see more of it. The lighting was kind of dim, and it was cool to see him kind of go John Wick on that entire gang. I loved that. I just wish it was a little bit more visible. That was kind of my only complaint about that. But seeing him be just relentless and seeing him being effective just by himself was really cool to see. It shows us, the audience, how technically skilled he is at his job and what he did before he met the Bebop crew. So it's really cool. Really cool episode overall. Yes, the same problems that I have, you know, touching blah, blah, blah. All the things that you've heard me say in the previous episode reactions are still relevant here. I guess this is me going into the things I didn't like about the episode, but yeah, same things that I don't like about previous episodes. Some of the lighting in the show seems a little bit cheap, and not that the lighting itself is bad, it just seems like it was done like on an independent filmmaker's budget. Not knocking on them if they actually were constrained to a budget and they had to kind of work around that. I'm not going to knock it for that, but just some things that I'm like, I could see someone with a better visual style, or a director with a better visual style, turning this scene and elevating it, taking the material and making it seem a little bit, I don't know, more professional. And I'm not knocking on the people who worked on it. If they had the right direction and if the director had a certain vision, then I think the scene would actually come off stronger with the same writing and everything. I think visuals have a lot to do with how we take in a scene, and they do matter. Like, I know that strong writing and great performances do really make a movie, but you know, visuals as well, it's like icing on the cake. It's like Denis Villeneuve could make a very great movie without some of the stronger visuals. It would still be a good movie, but because his visual style is so unique to him and his aesthetic, it amplifies that movie to like another level. I'm not gonna say that this director needed to be Denis Villeneuve, because no one is Denis Villeneuve except Denis Villeneuve. I could just picture these scenes in my head if I just close my eyes and I just imagine it done differently, and I'm like, yes, that is Cowboy Bebop. But then I open my eyes and unfortunately I see something that looks like a pale version of what I imagine in my head. And that's the thing, it's always going to be a pale comparison when I'm thinking of the original anime and how I would picture it in my head, because everyone has a different idea of the thing that they love and how they would adapt it. But when it comes down to it, if we were in front of a crew and we're like, what the hell do I do? The pressure of a director is insane. I don't envy that role at all. It's a lot of pressure. So I'm just saying that in my head I picture it a certain way, but I know that when it actually comes down to doing the job, it's a much bigger task than we give credit to. Anyways, all that stuff aside, I think the dynamic between Fearless and Julia in this was super rushed. I still don't buy it. I still don't buy their chemistry, and we have one more episode left. It's not going to do a lot to really hammer in the fact that these two are meant to be together. It really did feel like a rushed romance, which is pretty typical of a lot of noir films where it's just like, give me a sweet cheeks, and then they kiss and then it's like they're married. It never made sense in the old days, and I know that this is supposed to be evoking those old noir films, but it's just that for the show you had 10 episodes to tell that story, and I feel like you didn't do it in the time that you had, and you had a lot of time to do it and you just didn't. And I feel like that's a failing on, you know, either the writing or the directing. So yeah, another thing I didn't like about this episode was their relationship. I still don't buy it. I think they're all doing a great job individually, but together I don't buy the chemistry there. I can see them doing something there. I could see that chemistry being built over time, but it's just like immediately, the night of, she gets in the first fight with Vicious and then she's like in bed with Fearless the next like hour. After seeing a very traumatic event, which honestly, anyone witnessing a murder like that, yeah, would probably be compelled to do something that they wouldn't do normally, but she doesn't even feel any remorse afterwards, and both of them don't seem to really grasp what they just did. There's no guilt or anything, so I just feel a little bit less for those characters in that moment, and I feel like they're really just doing it because that's the romance that was built up in the original, but it just didn't really work in live action, especially when they're trying to jam it into this episode, which I felt the more compelling parts were the moments between Vicious and Fearless. I really like that dynamic. Honestly, Julia in this is, I feel like not really that interesting. I like the actress. I think I've seen her on other things and she's really great. I think her performance is fine. I think we got to see more of her, which is great, but I'm just not really buying her dynamic with the characters. I don't even think she had chemistry with Vicious. No romantic chemistry between any of the characters. Not really understanding why they liked this girl so much. I mean, she sang once at a club and that's it. That's all you need. Like, they haven't seen any other beautiful singers out there before. It just kind of, it felt really forced, and I still feel that way. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt about this episode overall. I really did like diving back into John Cho, into Spike's past. I really liked this episode for its tone, its atmosphere. It really did get a little bit grittier and more noir-like, and I really like when they do that for this series. It really does take me back to some of those more somber episodes of Cowboy Bebop that I really long for. Yeah, overall, the style of this episode probably worked for me for the most part, but yeah, still some of those same problems that you've heard me talk about before. And that's it. That's pretty much it. All I have to say about this episode. It's unfortunate that this series is being canceled. If the second season looked a lot like this episode, I would probably tune in and watch more, but I don't think it would look like that, just because, you know, there's a lot of different tones that they have to balance, and I totally understand why this one stands out on its own. And I think I just am more biased towards this kind of atmosphere and this kind of feeling for the episode. So I don't know how you felt about this episode, but I feel like a lot of people might like this episode a lot. I feel like I'm not alone in this one, but you guys let me know down in the comments down below. And yeah, please give this video a like if you are watching it. If you enjoyed this video so far, if you enjoyed this episode so far, give the video a like, leave a comment down below what you thought. Also subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. That'd be really cool. I would really appreciate that, guys. And holidays are coming up. As you guys can see, I set up a little Christmas tree. It was my girlfriend's idea, and I was kind of like on the fence about it. And then when I set it up, I'm like, I love the thing. Like, it's really cool. So yeah, holiday spirit is high and mighty. I can't wait for Christmas. I've bought all my presents already. So where are you guys at with buying your presents for your friends or your family? Please let me know down below. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys have a happy week. I hope that you guys are healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I don't have anything else to say, guys. Love you guys. And as always, I will see you later.